My wife accused me of cheating. I wasn't. The truth was somehow worse. I have been married to my wife, Sarah, for 6 years. We've always had a pretty solid relationship. No major trust issues. No cheating scandals. Nothing dramatic. So when she sat me down one night and asked if I was having an affair, I was completely blindsided. At first, I laughed. I thought she was joking. She wasn't. She pulled out her phone and started showing me screenshots. There were photos of me entering a coffee shop with a woman. Photos of me walking through a parking lot with the same woman. Photos of us sitting together at a restaurant. I couldn't believe what I was seeing, because I knew exactly who the woman was. My sister. My younger sister. The problem was that Sarah had never met her. My sister lives on the other side of the country. She rarely uses social media, and she'd been visiting me for the past week while my wife was out of town caring for her mother after surgery. To Sarah, it looked like I'd spent an entire week sneaking around with another woman. I explained everything. I showed her family photos, text messages, video calls, everything. Eventually she believed me, but then we both had the same question. Who took the photos? Neither of us recognized the locations where some of them had been taken. However, had been following me. 4 days, maybe weeks. That realization was far more disturbing than the cheating accusation. So I started paying attention. A few days later, I noticed the same silver SUV behind me during my commute. The next day, it was there again. Then again. Every single day. At first I convinced myself I was imagining things. Then one afternoon I pulled into a random supermarket parking lot. The SUV pulled in too. I drove out. It followed. I turned down a side street. Still there. At that point, I called the police. They advised me not to confront the driver. Instead, they suggested documenting everything. For nearly 2 weeks, I collected photos, timestamps, and videos. Then one evening, the SUV disappeared. Just gone. No more following. No more strange cars. Nothing. I thought it was over, until I got a package in the mail. No return address. Inside was a thick folder. Hundreds of pages. Everywhere I'd been for the previous 8 months. Photos, dates, notes, copies of receipts, descriptions of conversations I'd had in public. The person had documented my life in obsessive detail. I felt sick. Sarah was terrified. We immediately handed everything over to the police. A week later, they identified the person responsible, and it turned out to be someone I hadn't spoken to in over a decade. My high school girlfriend. Apparently she'd become convinced we were destined to end up together. She had spent years tracking me online. When she found out I was married, her obsession escalated. According to investigators, she genuinely believed Sarah was temporary and that eventually I'd realize we belonged together. The photos weren't meant to expose an affair. They were meant to convince my wife to leave me. That way I'd be alone and available. The most disturbing part, she had never once tried to contact me directly. For years she'd simply watched from a distance, collecting information, building files, creating a version of me in her head that didn't exist. She was arrested and later ordered to have no contact with me. That was almost 2 years ago. The legal situation is over now. Life is mostly normal again. But every now and then, I'll be sitting in traffic and notice a silver SUV nearby. And for a split second, my heart still stops.